Well, here we are. We're back. Kevin Larson, Vice President here at New Earth, and I have a really, really awesome conversation to continue with you, as I promised, about our body's inflammatory response. Some of the things that our bodies go through, everybody, all the time, really an unavoidable part of life. And to help me do that, I've brought along with me a ringer, someone that knows what this is like and knows a lot of great information to share about how the body can respond and how nutrients can help your body respond correctly. So Barbara Swanson, author of Beyond Foods, welcome. Thank you for being with us.
Thanks for having me, Kevin. Thanks everybody for being here.
Yeah, I'm excited about this one. Is just a short take. Last time I was able to talk to folks on the Healthy Hustle, we spoke a little bit about inflammation and the different things that your body goes through. And I promised them that I would come back and talk about, what's to be done about it, right? There was some time spent on, what are the causes? And there's acute inflammation, right? And then there's, systemic inflammation throughout the body. And a lot of that can wind up coming actually from the food that we elect to eat. The very thing we put into our body that we're hoping is going to solve these problems, in many cases is actually causing some of these problems. How does that resonate with you? Is that true?
Oh, 100%. I would say, especially in America, a lot of industrialized nations, people have unfortunately gotten into the habit of not making their own meals. So they're going to fast food places, they're getting boxed or canned goods. And that doesn't mean that's bad automatically, but your chances of getting food that's not really food goes up pretty dramatically when that's what you're eating.
Yeah, for sure, right? And what's interesting about that is not only do you sort of set yourself up for acute inflammation, right? That is, you roll an ankle or you tweak your back or an elbow or something like that, or maybe even just from a sport, or sitting in these bad boys too long during a day, right? Sitting in your office chair. But you also set yourself up for systemic inflammation throughout your body. Typically, when someone like yourself is looking at systemic inflammatory response, how does that affect a person? What are some of the negative impacts of that?
Well, you name it, and it's probably got systemic inflammation or chronic inflammation as one of the core issues. Acute inflammation is a natural healing process. That's what we're supposed to do. Chronic inflammation is when your body, as you said in the last call, can't handle that. Mm-hmm. And actually, science has shown that the top 300 degenerative diseases all have chronic inflammation as a common factor.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
It's like a cascade. The entry door could be inflammation, and falling down those stairs, the inflammation gets worse. So the problems gets worse, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And it's a very difficult, vicious cycle to get out of. So one of the things that you teach is a particular, nutritional philosophy and a holistic method, really, of nutrition is the key to solve this problem. There's only one virtuous cycle out, and that is nutrition. Do you care to speak to that real quick before we talk about some specifics?
That is absolutely the whole truth. We are set up as living beings. The only way our bodies can regenerate and work and effectively and function correctly is via what we put in our mouths. If we are missing key nutrients, and we need 50 micronutrients every single day, if your body cannot get those nutrients that are essential for their biochemistry that heals you, you start chronic processes like inflammation.
Right. It's a machine that is improperly oiled. You won't solve that problem until you solve the problem, right?
Absolutely.
It's kind of interesting. So the ingredient that I'm excited to talk to you about, surprise, surprise, it is one of the most incredible ingredients that the world has to offer. Fact, no hyperbole. You don't believe us? Try it. We have a money back guarantee on it. It's that perfect. It is a Phycocyanin floss aqua, right? This incredible blue-green algae from Klamath Lake. And what I like about it is its constituent parts, its nutrient profile. The nutrients that are available in this are simply incredible. And we're not going to go over all of them because that's decades of calls, right? But I want to spend just a little snippet of time on what are some of those nutrients that actually help with this problem, the inflammatory process. What are some of those nutrients that feed your body so that your body can then respond correctly to inflammation?
There's several, and that's one reason this algae is so powerful, because it isn't just one pathway that it can affect via its nutrients. It's several pathways. And I just want to throw out there before we get into details, probably 90% of the nutritional aspects of this food have not yet been discovered. So we're talking, multiple pigments, that some of which are unique to blue-green algae, multiple other nutrients that are somewhat unique to the algae, but we only know 10% of what's really even there.
I love that. I love the thought of that, right? You might not even know the power of the thing that you're taking, right?
Exactly.
Powerful stuff. One of them, and the reason I was just noticing, Barb, that the background I used for this is the same one I used last time. I used our blue background for Healthy Hustle. But there was a reason for it, because I do have one for the algae, but I specifically picked the blue one because of one of my favorite nutrients that we're going to talk about that happens to be a really good constituent nutrient that actually helps with this process, and that is phycocyanin. What is it about phycocyanin, and what does it do? How does it help this response?
So phycocyanin is the blue pigment in algae, and it is only really found in any amounts at all in algae. And so far, AFA has more phycocyanin than any other species on the planet.
And think about that. There's a thing called a blueberry,
yeah,
and it has more than a blueberry.
It has different and more. The phycocyanin is many, many, many times more effective than the blue pigment found in blueberries.
Very cool.
Yeah. And it's also in a wild plant. Our AFA is wild. It's not farmed. So the phycocyanin and the job that it does, including moderating the effects of radiation on these microcellular organisms, these pigments protect these cells from DNA damage from sunlight. They have to grow in the sun. Well, that aspect turns into a nutrient that helps us right along the same lines in our bodies.
Wow. That's pretty powerful. There's a study, actually the name of the study is Antioxidant Properties of a Novel Phycocyanin Extract from Blue-Green Algae of Phycocyanin floss aqua. Long name, but basic idea is this, that the phycocyanin protein found in a Phycocyanin floss aqua was AFA, I can stop saying it, right? Was found to have strong antioxidant properties and could be helpful in treating conditions related to oxidative stress, so cellular inflammation, right? And inflammation itself. Kind of amazing for something that we perceive as just a colored nutrient, right? It's pretty powerful. It's pretty mystical and magical, right? It's a blue pigment. How does it get that pigment?
Well, the only place you really get it is in blue-green algae. That's why, you can get other blue pigments. But again, I want to reiterate, science is showing that phycocyanin is many, many times more effective, especially as an anti-inflammatory. And they've discovered that it has a tendency to preferentially protect nerve cells. And so now we're talking your brain.
Yeah. Wow. So it's protecting you not only from free radicals, but it's protecting nerve cells. It's accentuating your body's ability to fight
Yeah.
against the inflammatory response that all of us go through all of the time. So it's not just an antioxidant, although that's a lot of the time how it's identified. But it's pretty powerful for something that plants, this algae in particular, AFA, creates out of light. Pretty
Yeah.
amazing.
In response to light. And then we
Yeah.
as human beings, our bodies are actually built upon the actions phycocyanin and other pigments have. When we eat these pigments from plants, our bodies directly respond, like I'm talking DNA level respond to these nutrients because they are the scaffold upon which we were built.
Wow, I like that. So it's going to the source as a form of protection.
Yes,
That's
it
really
really
good.
truly is. And you mentioned, we know phycocyanin as an antioxidant. And I just was very recently reading a scientific article that talked about how there's at least two other modalities that are not antioxidant, but which are anti-inflammatory that phycocyanin is shown to affect.
Wow.
So that's kind of crazy.
Yeah, that's really crazy. Say that again for folks that need to hear that. That's powerful.
So most people, including myself, we think of anti-inflammatories as antioxidants, and that's true. Antioxidants are anti-inflammatories, but I was reading a scientific study that was talking about with phycocyanin, there's at least two other pathways of the way it reduces inflammation that are not antioxidant in nature.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why it's so beneficial, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cool. And that's probably also why it helps, assist your body in reducing, like tissue damage and things like
Yeah.
that, right?
Absolutely.
Liver protection and things like that.
Yep.
Wow, I really like that one. All right. Well, one of the other ingredients is omegas, the omega-3s and omega-6s, but there's sort of a special relationship between the omega-3s and 6s in the AFA, and that is, the relationship between those two and how they present themselves in the AFA naturally. Tell us a little bit about that.
So there's a lot of misinformation that happens in the nutritional world when a nutrient is found to have a certain benefit. Many companies jump on the bandwagon of, well, let's purify it, isolate it, and make it 100 times more powerful because that's got to be better. More is better. Not
That's
true.
the American way, right? More is better. Mo better.
Mo better. Much more mo better. No, actually, just in the last year, science is now backpedaling and saying, wait. If you are out of balance with too much omega-3 or too much omega-6, either one, your body doesn't function with them correctly. So it is that balance that really matters. And AFA is like an upwards of 90+% match to the ideal human balance.
That's incredible to me. The fact that the algae has its inherent balance of omega-3s and 6s so that they work together correctly and they work together with your body correctly. It's almost as though the nature created the thing because it wanted it to have a certain effect on your body. Like, let me help you people out. All right, here.
Actually, it's the other way around. Our bodies were created because this was the food we had to grow from.
There you go. So, that's a great way to think of it. Other way around.
Yep.
Yeah, turn it on its head. That is some powerful stuff. Well, Barb, we're wrapping up close to our 10 minutes. I would say to the folks that are interested, it's real simple. Try it.
Yeah.
We have so many stories, well, I suppose they're calculable, but it would take a while, of people that have used this incredible algae for so many years and they feel better. They just feel better. Yeah. It's not the algae necessarily doing the work. But when you feed your body knows what to do, and
Yes.
it needs support, right? If you don't give your body water, it can't function correctly in the things that need water. If you don't give your body proteins, it can't function correctly on the things that need proteins. The same thing is true here. It just happens to satisfy some of the real core needs that maybe we don't pay a lot of attention to, especially when we're younger and we're bulletproof. Well, if you've gotten to the age and you know that you're not bulletproof anymore, raise of hands, that's me, I'm not bulletproof, then I would suggest just give it a shot. And Barb, you actually told me that you had a personal story that you wanted to share.
Well, I don't know if they'll be able to see it. You'd have to probably make me bigger on the screen, and I don't know if we can do that. But for those who want to try and see it, well, you can see that little red mark on my
you
arm.
Can see it.
That red mark 3 days ago was a huge blister. Boiling water spilled out and landed on my arm, and it was a huge blister. It was a severe burn. And both internally and then externally with the lotion that we have that has the algae in it and other antioxidants, I was shocked. It only even was painful for a day and a half, and then all the pain quit. So it was well on its way to healing.
Wow. Awesome story. Awesome. Well, there you go, folks. Give it a shot. Try it out. See what you think. And if you love it, tell a friend. Right?
Yep.
If you hate it and it doesn't work for you, we don't want to keep your money. Send it back. Eat the whole thing. Empty the bottle, trying it out. If it doesn't work for you, send it back. We'll give you your money back. That's how much we know. Hint, spoiler alert, it's going to work.
It's going to work.
Because it works all the time. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us on this Healthy Hustle. And Barb, thank you. Really, really great to have you.
Thanks, Kevin.
All
Bye,
right.
everybody.
Bye-bye.